Well, good afternoon, everybody, and thank you all so much for joining us today. My name is Michelle Johnson. I'm the Events Marketing Specialist here at Process Maker. Today's webinar is Unlocking Your Process Automation Potential. Are you maximizing it? I'm very excited to have join us today is Aleem Khan. He will be our guest speaker, and he is the esteemed IT director of the Redwoods Group. He'll be sharing his expertise to help you uncover essential BPA features that can boost productivity, streamline operations, and give you a competitive edge. Again, I'm Michelle Johnson. I am the events marketing specialist here at Process Maker. I'm responsible for executing strategic plans to promote and enhance the visibility and success of all of Process Maker's webinars, in-person and virtual events. So just a little bit about Redwoods. So Redwoods is a current client of ours. They are a social enterprise that exists to create safe communities for all by ensuring youth-serving organizations like the YMCA, Boys and Girls Clubs, summer camps, and Jewish community organizations. Redwoods collects data on how people get hurt, and then they develop training, resources, and services to prevent that harm from happening. A little bit about Process Maker. So Process Maker is a leading low-code process automation and intelligent document processing solution. Process Maker makes it easy for business analysts to collaborate with IT to automate complex business processes, connecting people and existing company systems. Process Maker is located in Durham, North Carolina, and has a partner network spreading across 35 countries and 5 continents. Hundreds of commercial customers, including many Fortune 100 companies, rely on Process Maker to digitally transform their core business processes, enabling faster decision-making, improved compliance, and better performance. So, Aleem, thank you so much again for being here today. You really did step up to the plate. And I know a lot of people are excited to hear your feedback on how the solution has been helping you and Redwoods. So let's get started. Why don't you let us know a little bit about yourself and your organization?
Yeah, can you hear me okay, Michelle?
Yes.
Great. Thank you. So yeah, the name is Aleem Khan. I'm the director of IT, infrastructure, director of IT, anything, right? In the Redwoods Group, we are a medium to sort of small to medium-sized company, about 70, 80, 90 employees, but we are part of a bigger group, Crum & Forster insurance company. We, Redwoods Group, happen to be a mission-driven insurance company that basically we exist to create safe communities for everybody.
Right.
So we work exclusively with the youth serving community organization, YMCA's, Boys and Girls Club, JCCs, summer camps, faith-based camps, and so forth, so on. And we don't get it right. We insure. We're an insurance company, and we have insurance relationships. But we do is to learn how the harm happens. How do we avoid it? We then create tools and trainings and resources. We send out our risk consultants and then services designed to keep everybody safe. And that's our mission and the business together.
Perfect. Thank you for that. We're keen to understand how Process Maker came onto your radar. And can you provide a little bit of color on how you found out about Process Maker?
So I've been with the company for a while, and I do know that some of the features and the functionalities that an insurance company has that could be pivotal for its existence, for the mission and all that. And incident reporting happens to be, and I'll tell you in a little bit why, more for us than for any other insurance company, is important for our mission. But we try to keep an eye out to try to see if we can get systems that actually support us in a streamlined fashion, in a simplicity. See, our belief is that we simplify and de-risk. You simplify your processes, you de-risk. things. And I think Process Maker happened to be, bring that to the table. And that's why the Process Maker came to us, that we looked at it for a while, but then we looked at our incident reporting, and I think that was the best fit for that. Workflows, I mean, look, the reality is that could be cumbersome to implement. Right. And workflows in an important aspect of your business, like for us, incident reporting could be. But we looked at, and I'll tell you a little bit how that happened with the Process Maker, that it turns out that it's probably the simplest process that I could implement.
Great. Thanks, Aleem. Could you also delve into the challenges that your company faced that prompted you to seek a process automation solution?
Right. So number one, let me say how important this process of incident reporting from our clients to us. So as I mentioned, that we are an insurance company, and traditionally insurance companies, they rely on two things. Number one, sell policies, right, to get premiums. And then the usual traditional insurance company says, oh, we don't want to pay your claims. No, we cut corners. That's not what we do.
Right.
We try to cut corners on risks. We cut corners on harm that happens to people in the swimming pools and everywhere else. So we try not to let the accidents and crashes happen. That to us is to save us, that supports our bottom line of loss ratios. If any of you are familiar with the insurance companies, that loss ratio is the main thing. So that's why it is important that the insurance company, as we pay attention, we give a lot of importance to incident reporting in our business model. Now, having said that, we insure a lot of YMCAs and camps, and at times, the incident reporting could go into thousands a day, and thousands a day, meaning every time there's an incident happen where Johnny fell down and scraped his knee. Okay, well, they have to report it to us, or something, God forbid, big happens. There's a drowning incident happening, and okay, well, they report it to us. So the thousands of those incidents on a daily basis, you can imagine sometime is like few hundreds a minute.
Right.
And we needed a system that we streamline that, and we take that seriously. And if anything that's needed an action right away, a quick action, an urgent action. So some people need to process that information. And that's what the challenge was for us. At times, we may have very little incident reporting coming in, but there are times where there are thousands coming in. And that's what the challenge was to begin with. That's how we thought the Process Maker, the way that we can have that process where they can come in and we can instantly look at that information, and then we can decide whether it's a claim or not, or no, it's okay. That's not a problem. Johnny's okay. They don't.
Right.
So and then in addition to that, there are issues where there are it's all a very personal, confidential information, right? Somebody gets hurt, and what you call the non-NPIs and the HIPAA laws, information rules that they need to be followed, and all those incident reports are always available through a system where more than one person can reach to it. And at the other end, where people are submitting this information to us, the challenge was where somebody is sitting at a pool, guarding and or maybe in a soccer field where they are looking for any unsafe practices. How do they report those practices without having to go get a computer in the office? And that was one of the challenges. But I think, with the Process Maker, we came about where it's easier. We can put the technology in the hands of our customers. Okay, no matter where you are, you can take pictures and attach them, and we get them right away. So those are the challenges that we came about. We've always had that for years, and I've been with the company for tens of years, but we've always had those challenges where how do we always get prompt incident reporting in a much more easy form for us to look at.
Great. Thank you so much, Aleem. So has your industry's ongoing digital transformation wave influenced your decision to implement our product? If so, could you elaborate on how you needed to adapt to remain competitive?
Yeah, well, digital transformation, and you said the right thing. That never stops, right? It changes, and we've always had that where the ways and methods of reporting in insurance industry changes, right? They progress further on. But with the COVID now, it also where the restrictions happen and then all the processes change. Now a lot of people are not in the office or in the office, so that's why that also has been the forefront of the IT management. Said, how do we make sure that we provide a seamless environment, not only to the people who are out in the field with all these restrictions happening and pandemic and whatnot, but also now the layout of the processes has changed. The process maker presented the possibilities of the seamless access on both ends. We're not only incident reporters are comfortable in submitting, but also our staff. They're comfortable in the streamline. They'll be making sure that nothing falls through the crack on an incident reporting level. And that's why I think it's the key word is the seamless access to it. Michelle.
Yes, understood. Thanks, Aleem. So when you began searching for process automation solutions, what were the critical features or criteria that you had in mind? Were you seeking specific integrations, cloud compatibility, or other functionality?
Right. Well, insurance industry changes that the cloud compatibility was always the question. But to us, we want the main objective, Michelle, has always been how do we make sure we can hand over at the best piece of technology, as any IT manager will tell you, IT folks will tell you, we can hand over the best piece of technology in the hands of our users. But if we don't make it easier and usable where they can get to use it, it's useless. Get to use it the proper way you would want it useless. I usually put a term of it's the candy for the eye, right? Where users, if they like to see it, they would like to use it.
Right.
And that has been the automated solution that we always look for in our life. The main objective is to get our users to submit these incident reports to us instead of scribbling in a piece of paper and taking a picture and sending it to us, which obviously is not data compatible. So how do I put this technology in their hand that can actually use it? And that has always been, like I said, that was our forefront. Just get them to use it. Make it attractive, right?
Right.
Hey, easily I could put this and submit it. Instead of looking at 1,000 questions and deciding which question do I need to answer, how do I present them something that they can easily, because of a tree-form question that process maker provided us, right? They can say, okay, I only need to answer these 5 questions and I'm done.
Right. Make it very easy for them.
Right.
Great. Thanks, Aleem. So among the various options you have researched, what made Process Maker stand out? What specific feature about our product caught your attention?
Yeah. Well, right away, I can tell you, hey, there's been always, since we started this process with you for over a year ago, customizability and the access and availability to support when and how it's needed. So let me elaborate on that. Customizability. We're a small to medium-sized company. right? And even if bigger companies, there's always some niche things that they do, especially in our business, insuring YMCA's, and not every insurance company does that. And now we are a very niche company. So customization has always been the main requirement for anything that we do. How we keep our bookkeeping, right? How we do our bookkeeping, how we do our employees hiring and so forth, so on, customization. So same thing in the incident reporting, right? This is our main functionality that supports our mission. We had to have the customizability and be able to customize it on a moment's notice sometime. Like, hey, I wanted to change that yesterday. We always do that, right?
Right, absolutely.
Right, and obviously, and then we can always have that customization at a pretty deep level. Let me say this, and the process maker accessibility and to support when we need it. I don't want to go through somebody who's selling us stuff before we can get to somebody. Oh, I'm gonna give you this, but let me talk to someone. No, I'd rather be talking to on a one-to-one level. If I can put some Java code in it, hey, I'm talking to you. As I'm talking to you, I'm putting Java code in it that will do things for you. It's very valuable to me. So customization and the ability to do that as we go along, right? Those are that's what caught my attention.
Perfect. Thank you so much for letting us know that. That's definitely great to know. So transitioning to a new system can be challenging. Could you please walk us through how you introduced and implemented Process Maker within your organization?
Right. This process is being incident reporting has been in place forever. But like I said, it wasn't exactly data driven, because like I said, people still do, they scribble notes and send it to you. There's no searchable data and process that is in place. So the main issue that usually come about is how do you transfer your historic data into a new system?
Mm-hmm.
And so we did not have a lot of that data to transfer. I think that implementation that comes. But to us, the bigger question really came about was how do we present it to our customers, where they say, oh, something is changing. Everybody's still, no, I don't want to change. I don't want to change. Actually, the way we put the interfaces out, Michelle, people did not even see if there was any change happen. They say, oh, yeah, I feel the same feel that I used to do before. Because with Process Maker, I exactly say, okay, this is what I would like to see in Process Maker, what I've been seeing in, I don't want to throw names, but in other cloud systems, right?
Right.
And that's exactly what, to me, I think that's what would have been the challenge, but that made it easy. Because I'm still sitting at the same interface that people see, similar, but no changes. And that's what I think made our implementation easy.
Great. That's definitely good to know.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. So the true test of a solution is the value it brings post-implementation. Could you share how Process Maker has facilitated improvements within your organization?
Right. In any organization, when you have a process working, wonderful, process, the paperwork and information goes from one discipline to the other desk and so forth, so on. But hey, somebody's out on vacation, right? Or somebody has to be, that's when things topple, right? I didn't know this is what we had to do, or somebody left and you replace somebody. And actually, I've seen it 6 months later, I found out, we stopped doing that since person A left. Right? So we don't have that data. We pretty much eliminated that because now we have all this process and I'll probably show you those diagrams, is here.
Right.
No matter what, anybody gets up and leave on a Sunday night, Monday morning, I have somebody else taking care of it exactly the same way they did Friday night.
That's great. Yeah, preventative measures put in place.
Right. So the number of so I can put the number of resources that we had to assign to it to keep it going and providing a plan B, so to speak, eliminated completely.
Oh, wow.
Right.
That's terrific. So next up, let me ask you, could you share any key metrics or KPIs that illustrate the success you've achieved with Process Maker?
Yeah. Incident reporting for us is handled by folks that actually will be able to support our mission in a much deeper way. Claims adjusters, for that matter, right?
Right.
They just claim, they go and support people, and they, people who have just through an accident, they wanna soothe their pain. That's what we believe in.
Right.
That's what the claim adjusters should be able to do. Rather, if they are involved in reading these incident reports, they don't have time. They have higher stuff to do. But having said that, the incident reporting, we were able to just basically in the process eliminate that, meaning that not all the claim registers now have to do this. We only have 1 or 2 folks, the number of people who actually do this. So the number of resources that we assign to incident reporting is much less than basically was all spread out.
Wow, that's definitely great. So have there been any Process Maker features or functionalities that surprised you in terms of their utility or impact on your process automation journey?
Right. So and I keep talking about incident reporting because I think that's what, if you apologize for that, but let me just say this. Incident reporting involved where people or the users in the field, somewhere in a camp, in a remote camp, or in a swimming pool, they are submitting an incident report. And so they're putting in all the data. Along with the data, they will also put in other documents, right? Or here's the police report, right? Here's a picture of that person that got hurt. Or here's the goalpost that fell down and hurt some kid, and so forth, so on. So all kinds of media files that come with it. So we originally thought, okay, well, we need to have a process to get that reported. What we didn't realize that along with each process Maker actually can handle all those media files and documentations that can stay in one place, rather than having them to say, okay, well, you're going to have to email these files to us.
Right.
Now somebody goes to email, okay, well, now then match which ones. You can imagine 1,000 incidents today. Somebody will have to sit and match all those. That did not. So that is something. So why do we need to have those documents, those police reports? I have them came along with the same process, just one process. And then once that's done, when somebody decides, oh, is there a claim? Yes, and here are all the documents. I think that being able to handle documents together and attachments in the same flow, so to speak.
Right.
So you think about implementing this. If I was to implement this in my HR, right, for new hires, right, somebody who's a new hire is submitting all the driver license and everything, it would be submitting it together. I'm just doing an analogy, right? Together, and when somebody HR gets it, all the documents are together.
That is perfect. That's terrific. Yeah, absolutely. That's terrific. It's good to know. So how do these features fit into your plans for utilizing Process Maker? Do they significantly affect your ongoing or future process automation strategies?
Yeah, so you can imagine that incident reporting is basically just one initialization of a claims process.
Mhm.
So we get so many incident reports, not all of them turn into claims, but many of them do.
Right.
And many of them have the potential of a huge claim. You're talking millions of dollars in each claim. Could be a death involved, sexual harassment cases, right? And there is I mean, it could be a property. Maybe there's a tornado happened. Now I know that the whole building is gone. It could be that, or could be nothing, right? Could be nothing.
Right.
All right, just an incident. Johnny scratched his knee. All right, it's okay. Let's sue them out. He's okay. Give him a candy. So having said that, it's a process. This will involve where we interface with a larger system. And I think Process Maker provides us that ability to interface with a much larger claim system, and having accompanying all that material that came with it helps us to move further along much quicker in our bigger process of claims. We don't want any claims, but they do occur. Right?
Exactly. Great. No, that's definitely good to know. So can you please share the incident report process with us and walk us through for the audience?
Yeah, I could. Do I share the screen or?
No, I'll go ahead. I have it up here.
Go ahead? Okay, good. Thank you. Yes. So I have to tell you, this is the whole process, right? You would think that with such a huge process that's going through, there will be processes and sub-processes and all done. But I gotta tell you this is simplicity at its best. When we started in our first instance, you can tell there are not that many loops and all those, and each node is some sort of a process that's happening. So having said that, submit incident report, that an incident that happened, and that's when they actually fill out a form. And I'll tell you in this process a little bit what those forms look like. But then once that form is submitted, then you have these processes that take place. And by the way, each process, to my surprise, was pretty deep. Deep meaning that it can do all kinds of programming functionalities that you would think that will take a lot of programmers to do. You're talking about generating, like I said, it's generating PDF files, and get those files in log those files, and then do an SMTP functionalities that we connect to a cloud server that does our emailing and whatnot. All that happens right there. And by the way, I didn't write any code, honestly. I have to tell you, your team did help me writing a little bit of very minor code, but I did not want to get into that. So all that, like I said, get the lists, get them out, get the emails out to the places where you're supposed to, get some approvals, and then and then log it away, document it, record it, so the data is available. Each of these processes they take. But like I said, this is all the process there is. From the moment they actually get this submit the button, press the submit button, excuse me, and all the way that we actually incident now is documented.
Terrific.
So go ahead and move next slide, Michelle. Yeah. So building up these forms, as you can tell, it could be very basic form, or that the people have to actually submit information. But in Process Maker, what I found out that you can build loads of forms that have loads of fields in them, but the organization of those, it made it easy, which I did not have in other systems, is to tabs for the information. So I was able to divide the information and create these forms with different tabs. You can tell general information, incident information, and so forth, so on, inter-party coverage, and the details. Next slide, Michelle. And as you can tell, this is a sample of in those tabs as to how small the information could be, but consider this, that this little bit of information will generate tree information that goes through, and it decides to pick on certain questions or drop certain questions. And so you can present your user a much more a simplistic view of the questions that you would like. So go ahead and the next slide, Michelle, please. Yeah, and these are the few screens that we're going through, as you can tell. Not that difficult to create. I can tell you the drop downs are huge. Some of them have maybe 20, 30 different choices, but they are being limited based on the questions that you ask. Not necessarily people have to go through 1,000 different options to pick that data. Next slide, please. Yeah, and I think this is the last one where people submit, and as you can tell, based on the information, all these check boxes, further, all those boxes in the flow that you saw, actually they activate and then they execute whatever the commands in there, whether it's a call can go to police for the 911 number, or none of these, nothing happens. Just notification happens, and I'll show you the notification in a little bit. But based on these, any of those processes get executed, and actions are taking place, whether somebody gets an email or get notified or sent for approval or not approval. Next slide, please. Thank you. So at the end of the day, our adjusters, they get this form, or the person who is actually doing this. As you can tell, all the information is in there, but I think all the information comes in. We only chose to show the initial information that is necessary for them to decide what to do with it, and they can download further information if they want to, or if they say, nah, it's really nothing, we don't need to worry about it. But what I wanted to point out to you is at the bottom, there are a few buttons that are placed. Again, I did not do any coding for those. Those are all part of the interface, where the adjusters can decide in one shot, is it a potential claim? Is it to save and look at it later? I say, nah, there's no claim here. We just need to just put it away as our record for documentation. So, this is all they do. The person who's actually looking at the incident report that are coming in, and so they don't have to bother claim adjusters who have better things to do, and rather than looking at these reporting. That makes sense, Michelle?
Absolutely. Process Maker is about making everybody's life just a little bit easier, right?
Absolutely. Simplicity. That's our motto. Simplicity and de-risk.
I love it. Great. Thank you so much, Aleem. Well, we'll like to go ahead and open the floor. If anybody has any questions, Aleem or myself, and we'll do our best to answer them for you.
Absolutely. So, if there are no or little questions, either
exactly.
You explained it well, or I was able to confuse everyone else.
Well, here goes one question. Is this tool based on user licenses?
No, there is no need for user licenses for this. But for developing and to managing and to administer, yes, you do need licenses. But I really like the licensing structure for Process Maker, and I did not have to get, I mean, we have thousands of users in the country. We basically put this out. It's a good question, because we had to put it out on our website without having to log in to do this.
Right.
We cannot possibly manage thousands of people's licenses. And that was one of the things. But Process Maker, we did not have to do that. It's completely open. And that's why it is important that, basically usability was, is high for people to use. They don't have to remember a password and all that.
Right.
That's why we do not need a license.
Perfect. Thanks, Aleem. Looks like we do have a question. Is there a reference link for the tabs that you could share? I guess the tabs that you were showing in your workflow.
So when let me just understand reference link in Process Maker, how you create. Is that the question? How you create tabs?
So
tabs,
for the
by the
tabs,
way, tabs, by the way, as the questions coming in, let me just tabs, by the way, is not something that is available on your interface.
Okay.
Your process team help me create tabs. Usually, if I'm creating a process from blank, tabs are not available. Now, again, I don't know, maybe it will be available in the next, but I think and it wasn't that long. It was quick. I just asked them to create tabs, and they did. It was a little more complicated process. I said, "Nah, please help me," and they created those. So it was quickly done. Quickly done. Yes.
Okay, we have a second question about the same thing about the tabs on the screen. So if you want, after this webinar, everybody, if you want to shoot me an email at marketing@processmaker.com, and we can get you some assistance with getting the tabs up on the screen. We'll be happy to do that for you.
I have to tell you, Michelle, it did not take me more. I asked them, here's my old interface. Can you create these? And there were no tabs on it. They created tabs themselves in 12 hours. They came back to me and said, okay, here are the tabs. Okay. So like I said, if it's done for me, why do I need to bother? You guys were terrific.
Oh, that's awesome, Aleem. All right. Any other questions out there? I think that's it for today. Well, Aleem, again, I can't thank you enough for being present today and giving your insight on Process Maker. And thank you to everybody that joined us today. We really appreciate you all taking the time. Well, that's it. Have a great rest of your day, everybody.
And thank you very much. And listen, if anybody would want to create a user base, please happy to reach out to Michelle and she can get contact with us. I'll be happy to work with anybody.
Awesome. Thanks again, Aleem. Have a great day.
Thank you.